It's going to be okay with Dr. Roseanne, and I am Dr. Roseanne, and we're going to talk about my favorite tips to overcoming this negativity that maybe you're stuck in, maybe your partner's stuck in, maybe you're just becoming a little aware in these conversations about your really are being negative. So let's talk about ways for you to become a better parent because guess what? You're here because you have a child that's struggling in some way, shape, or form. And I promise you, this is one of the most impactful things. And when people come to me from all over, if you listen to the previous episode, people do come from all over. This is where I have to spend way too much time, way too much work getting to the meat of what actually changes the brain. But this is really important in changing your child's brain because you're being negative in ways you don't realize, in ways that are really impacting them on this deep level. And you're creating generational negativity. So let's break that. Let's talk about the strategies. You're going to be happy that you did. And if you're new to me and you're just finding me, go to our free Facebook group, drroseanne.com/group. This is part of what we do. We're here creating ways to change the brain. And we do have an awesome Calm Brain community coming soon. So hop in there and you'll learn more about it. So, number one, you got to take care of your own stuff. I'm using the shit word on this. We all got shit. It's what you do with it, people. Okay. There isn't a human on the planet that's perfect. Maybe they look perfect on Facebook, but I promise you they're not. You know, I'm actually shocked sometimes how much people pretend. Like, I don't even know what it's like to pretend because whatever, you hear me talking about my own stuff, it is what it is. You've got to take care of your own mental health. You're not prioritizing it. I say this constantly to my friends and even the parents that come into me, like, if you had a diabetic, we wouldn't even think twice about taking care of it. But somehow when it's mental health, you think you can put it in the parking lot and you're going to get away with it. I promise you, your cracks are showing, right? So, you make time for everything else and everyone else. You've got to take care of it. And that's you and your partner. Or if you have people with some serious stuff around you, you better figure out some boundary setting, and taking care of your mental health means you are getting help. So we're going to talk about that. So that is a non-negotiable, people. Get it together. If you have trauma from your own parents, you already heard me say the Italian favoritism, like literally weighed on me, for a lot. And things that I would love to share, but there are people that I don't like in my family, and I don't really want to waste time talking about them. And what it was is that I was like, there's things that I can't control, and I've got to take care of my own viewpoint towards it. And many times things were put in my face that I didn't like, right? Whether it's people that are friends or family or whatever. And I looked at it as a blessing, as an opportunity to take care of myself. Yeah, I know nobody wants to do it. And we want things to be rosy. It's not real world. Okay, we're going to practice mindfulness. We all have time, more time than you think, but it just requires 10 minutes a day. And you can do breath work multiple times a day. You can listen to something like the Calm app. You can do EFT tapping. You can go for a walk. There's a lot of things you can do to practice mindfulness. Yeah, you can also sit there and do full meditation. I do prayer every day. You hear me talk about when I really like got it together, I make sure I have the time. I light my candles. I do things. And I have lots of reminders in the world around me, from, angel wings to salt things and different crystals, all just different things to make me stop. And they're really in viewpoint for me. Okay. We're going to use I statements when we are around our kids and we're like, you. This may be a therapist hack. It's a damn good therapist hack. We want to say, like, I feel sad that you punched your sister in the face. and teach that. That is really important. And these are the little things that start moving the dial, right? So we're going to look for positive qualities. When you have a really curmudgeon, you have a difficult kid, you're somebody who just isn't listening, is frustrated, you're going to have to not just focus on all the things they're doing wrong. We're not going to ignore it. We're going to address it, but we want to hone in those positives. Otherwise, it's just going to be so friction laden and it's going to be very frustrating. Support. So, this can be support for yourself if you've got your stuff and you're not tending to your own mental garden. But if you really are struggling behaviorally, why are you not going and getting help? I mean, I had somebody who flew out this week to me and they basically told me their kid the entire life was difficult. And this was now at this point a middle schooler, and they had never once, this happened to me twice in the last week, same age. Neither one of them had ever gotten professional help. And both of them did the exact same thing. They started to isolate and pull back because it wasn't socially accepted. Of course, impulsive kids who aren't good socially and really started to get excluded from their community, which really broke my heart because you heard me talk about the bitches on my bus stop excluding me. I hope you're listening. So so that's all right. Jesus keeps people in your life and out. Remember, right? I hope you're listening, Flo. She loves when I say that. But you have to get support. Don't mess around. Nobody regrets getting help. They regret when they don't. Come on, people, right? You got to get it. Okay. Active listening. So when your kid is being difficult or whatever, just because you're listening doesn't mean you agree. Isn't that powerful when you start to hear that? You want to be like, I hear you. I hear that's really frustrating. I hear you're upset that I didn't make chicken nuggets. Whatever it is. But you can say, you then can then use as an opportunity to say, well, I'm really glad we're talking about this. And you can use as an opportunity to start talking about coping skills, to shift the dialogue. You don't have to cut your kid off. Now, certainly when kids are safety's an issue or out of control, I like to button things up and be like, hold on. But when you save it for those moments, it's more impactful, right? So active listening is not easy. It's a good way for your child to feel heard. And it's also a great way for you to understand. Often our kids that are really angry and irritated have improper perspective. So when you're listening, you really get to have a clear sense that maybe something is amiss. This is one of the best tips I've ever given parents when, social reasoning is a problem. It's a problem for a lot of kids. Just because you like other kids doesn't mean you're good at it. So positive reinforcement. Can we say positive reinforcement? You are going to really reinforce the bejesus out of the behavior you want. You're going to ignore the negative behavior. So it's also successive approximations. So you want to shape a behavior. You don't want to keep pointing to what they're not doing right. So when the same thing, let's say pain, very terrible at chores, right? So your child um got the garbage out, but didn't replace the bag. Who's been there? Hello. Happens in my house all the time. So I'm like, I so love that you took the garbage out. Can you take a look around and see if there's anything else? You know, you might have to have flashing red lights to be like, put the darn garbage bag in, but be like, oh, I think you just missed that, and then make it, really reinforce when they actually do it. And they need reinforcement because their brain is not completing that process. You're not giving in. You're not coddling. These are all true words I've heard other people. You are giving their brain the reinforcement to do what is right. Okay. If you're really frustrated, you're really irritated, you're really angry, you are not going to engage with your kid. You're going to take a break. You cannot be a positive person and really overcome this negativity bias if you are running on empty. And us mothers, somehow we think we're super woman and we have missed the boat on filling up our gas. Okay. So in a healthy way. There are a lot of moms drinking out there, and there's a lot of moms disconnecting. Take breaks, do those mindfulness based activities. If you're not regulating your nervous system, you're not going to get to be the best version of yourself, for your child, for your spouse, for your whoever in your life. Really important. Okay. So let's talk about being consistent. This is probably the number 2 failure that I see, right? It's you have to put some grease around it, people. You got to be consistent. You got to try it. You can't just give up on it. You can't just be like, well, sorry, I grew up in a house and my mom, she was an alcoholic and all she ever did was tell me I did wrong or I turned out okay. I hear that all the time. And I'm like, wait a second, did you? So we're all functional most people are very functional, even when they're a hot mess, they can contain it. So being consistent means you're reinforcing those desired behaviors, right? And you're using positive language. You are turning on your own self-care and being really consistent about that. That's incredibly useful because you're going to be a better parent and you're going to make sure that your child gets what you need. So negativity happens. Don't live there. Take a mirror, look at it, think about it, take that aerial view and say, is this happening? Do I have a role in this? And what can I do? Right. When people come to me, I'm like, what levers can we pull? What levers can we, turn down? And think about all the little micro ways. And we are wired for negativity. And if we've been raised in a household that is very negative, right? I was raised in a very positive household that was like no limits on a lot of things, but still there's things that happen along the way that cause us to be even more negative, right? And so think about how you can fill your own cup so your child can overcome these issues, and they absolutely can. So if you're looking for more ways to support that, you can go to drroseanne.com group to join our Facebook group. Or if you're looking to work one-on-one, you can go to drroseanne.com help. And we're here to guide and help you along the way, because sometimes getting stuck means you got to get unstuck and you need professional advice. And that's okay. That's an awesome thing. So I hope you're inspired for change. Breaking generational negativity starts with you.